Brexit supporters have fumed at the EU for its approach to negotiations, mirroring a similar sentiment felt by the leader of the last territory that left the bloc. Even during the 2 years of withdrawal talks, the UK and the EU's relationship was shattered by tense talks and frustrating lack of progress. Similar concerns have plagued trade talks as the UK accuses Brussels of causing a paralysis. Brexit negotiations have stalled in recent months over two key issues: fisheries and regulatory alignment. Prime Minister Boris Johnson wants to fulfil a Leave campaign promise that the UK will take back control of its waters post-Brexit. Previously, EU vessels had free access to British fishing grounds, leaving many fishermen in the UK aggrieved. However, the EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, has warned Mr Johnson he cannot secure access to European markets without allowing EU vessels into UK waters. The UK is also looking to avoid EU regulations, giving the country more freedom to set its own laws on trading standards. Some Brexiteers have argued that accepting EU demands would be going back on promises made to Leave voters in 2016. A similar row erupted when Greenland left the EEC in 1985. The territory's representative in the EU, Lars Vesterberg, revealed his tense exchanges with Europe during Greenland's departure. Mr. Vesterberg said, "I think the EU will have the same attitude now as they had 30 years ago. That when you leave the family, you should not expect to get anything easily. You ask for membership, you don't then leave. That's the attitude of most of the EU members. Another fundamental ideology is simply that the advantages of membership are for members, not for those standing on the outside. We spend a lot of time convincing the EU that of course you can leave, the EU is not a prison." Mr. Vesterberg lifted the lid on a frustrating meeting with the Italian Minister for Europe at the time. He continued, "He simply wasn't willing to give us anything. He was not accepting the referendum's legitimacy." When Greenland's Prime Minister Jonathan Motzfeldt finally lost his patience, he said, "Okay, Mr. Fiori, I don't have any more time for you because I have to go and see the Pope." 3 days later we got Italy's approval. We had never thought that a visit to the Pope would have such an influence, we didn't know that he had anything to do with fishing rights.